reassignments. We try to fill vacancies and new positions by promoting qualified employees, and sometimes there's just a staff member that wants to change their assignment. And I'm just giving you an update on what those reassignments are. So John Holbrook, a social studies teacher, resigned. Tom McCarty was our social studies teacher, if you recall, a couple of years ago. And so Tom said, with an opening in the social studies department, I'd really like to go back to that. So we asked other people who have social studies degrees, anyone else really interested in that? Nobody was interested in that. Tried to talk Tom into staying at that at-risk department, but he would really like to go back and join this department. So we said yes, we would reassign him. That reassignment opens up a little bit of a domino effect. We have that at-risk position. Paul Novinsky expressed an interest in that. Paul is, again, in the social studies department, certified through 12th grade. Met with Nate, talked with Nate, and we reassigned Paul to that position. Somebody without a high school degree was interested in that position. After we talked with them and discussed that with them, servicing the high school without that certification, we want to make sure they have that high school certification. With the vacated social studies position from Paul, this is brand new. The team posted for and they interviewed 4 outside candidates. This is also shared in the additional updates. It doesn't need approval, but I thought as long as we're explaining to you the staff reassignments, you would see what happens with this recommendation as well, or this move. Sean Butala, who's currently GT, we would reassign him to Paul's position. The middle school team did do a full interview for that, however, just because we had a number of good applicants apply for the social studies position. So prior to reassigning that, the team did interview 4 other candidates. When Nancy Ryder, special education teacher, moved to the 7th grade language arts position, Nancy's been working on her reading specialist degree, so when that language arts job opened up, we did reassign her. So that's just an update, just to share with you some reassignments in case you hear about that domino effect.
No new positions created there, they're all existing positions,
Yeah.
correct?
Yep, it's just a reassignment.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And were other people interested, or was it just those?
No, like we posted for a week, and we did have one other person interested in the at-risk, so we met with them, interviewed, went through that job description with them,
Okay.
but nobody else wants, yeah. So, acceptance of a high school social.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept items D, E, and F as presented.
There's an additional one too, right?
I'll second it.
We missed Jess on B. I know Kevin said she was appointed, but I don't think we ever took a vote on that. He made the motion. I'm looking at item 12B, discussion and possible decision appointing an alternate personnel committee chairperson.
As I stated, our group got together and voted all 3 of them unanimously, but items 1 and 3 have been tabled to since be rolled into the policy work from 155. Item number two,
I'm sure where we're at in the agenda anymore. Let's just vote on it.
Yes, so we did have a motion and then we talked about the revamping some of it. So we did have a motion by Kevin, but we did not get a second. I do not believe, unless, Amy, did you catch
For appointing
anything?
the alternate personnel chair,
Yes.
well, they just voted on that in the committee.
Yeah, they voted on that.
They voted that on in their committee.
But it does
Does
say,
that have to come to the full board? Because when Mike's not around, he says, hey, Matt, do this. And I'm like, okay.
well, it's just listed as that way on the, I'm fine if you leave it the way it is, but it is listed as a decision item.
Well, they made that decision. It has to come to the full board.
Is it in there?
So we're
Somebody
good.
that was there would make a motion in a second, then we could go forward.
Yes,
I'm
please.
sorry,
There is a
it's
motion.
impossible
Can
to
we
do.
have a second?
You already did it, just doing it again, that's all you're doing again.
Oh.
Okay, I'll
Amy?
second.
Okay. We have a motion. We have a second. All those, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Now.
Now we got Corey E.
Okay, so we have a motion from Corey on items
The
D.
3 resignations that are listed on the agenda.
Second.
Okay. So we have a motion and we have a second. Any Discussion or questions?
There was additional resignation since this is published, is that correct?
That will be in G.
Correct.
We're not to that one yet.
Okay,
This is just D, E, and F.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, number G, we always have this additional resignation, retirees or hires as an update, and we do have a resignation from Kayla Bird. Sad to see Kayla go. Kayla, who is our special education teacher and currently our co-principal, who you heard from tonight, has finished her administrative degree and has accepted, would like to accept a position, administrative position at a different school as an administrator. So we'll probably Kayla in our work.
Motion denied.
Sorry, Kayla.
You're not
Stuck.
going anywhere.
Don't make this harder than it is.
Now's when you negotiate for a raise.
It's terrible.
I'll rescind my motion.
Okay,
Motion approved.
okay, we have a motion to approve and a second by Kelly. Sorry to see you leave. Congratulations.
I'm very sorry to go. We're not moving right away because we would love to be,
See how
this is what I love, so
Good luck.
thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
You can see the update on the extracurricular hires. Discussion and possible decision was moved up to our first thing, and future agenda items, we didn't get to J, although we had some.
Oh.
Right?
Well,
I
yeah,
will
but,
send it to you in writing.
yeah, but I think we'll take that, not so much in the committee, correct? That's gonna come on for the future board, but, yeah. I know. All right, 13, Mike.
Okay, tonight at the finance committee meeting, dated June 19th, 2018 for $1,570,410.58. I would so move we accept the treasurer's report.
Second.
Okay, we
Oh, no,
have,
that's the voucher. I'm
Yep.
sorry.
okay, we have a motion by Mike and a second by Matt Barnes. Roll call vote, please.
Gorman,
Yes.
Kaiser,
Yes.
Maple,
Yes.
Beal,
Yes.
Tomcheck,
Yes.
Zero,
Yes.
Barnes,
Yes.
Bauman,
Yes.
and Gables had the lead.
Okay, the treasurer's report, ending May 31st, 2018, and dated June 13th, 2018. I would so move.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mike and a second by Matt Barnes. Roll call vote, please.
Bauman,
Yes.
Gorman,
Yes.
Kaiser,
Yes.
Maple,
Yes.
Beal,
Yes.
Tomcheck,
Yes.
Zero,
Yes.
Barnes,
Yes.
all yes.
Okay, under items of discussion and possible recommendation of purchase of security items. On that first items that we passed, made a motion on, there did not contain the square footage for the glass protection. So I would like to make a motion to cover that issue.
Is it for the doors? That's the doors though, right? You're talking
Yeah, the
about?
doors.
Yeah, the
That's-
doors
that's
wasn't
in a
required
different-
your
But
permission.
that wasn't in this year document.
Oh, yeah, I didn't ask for that, Mike,
Right.
because they just pay the full cost.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all
I
right,
don't
It's
need
okay,
any
you're
funding from the
I
school board.
digress.
You need to float me the loan to pay the bill to get the reimbursement, that's the only thing you gotta do.
You kind of got it earlier, but that's okay. And then,
That's the end.
okay, well, we didn't get to D. Other reports, Osby.
Okay, that is me, and we have a seminar coming up in July 13th and 14th in Green Bay. It's school safety, which sounds quite interesting. And does have in this, financial in the back, you go to WASB and you can click on the links, find out any information. There is also a really good workshop in, Tomahawk, August 8th and then the 14th. And that's by CISA 9, so that's all I have.
Okay. Cisa.
Okay, the other night at CISA 9.
I know you don't.
No, the report said that.
It's in there, okay.
I read it.
Future agenda items.
Yeah, I've got a couple of future agenda items. As you can see, I'm taking an assertive approach here and hope that we can potentially take us from a position of very good to great. That's the intent of my assertiveness here. Item number 1, for the board, I request a review and possible decision for mandated class size caps initiative. This is to be on the July board meeting. I request information for 2017, 2018, 2018, 2019 academic school year, provided no later than July 7th, which includes 4 bullets. Number of classes for each grade, excluding IEP, all graded, all courses. In adjacent column, the number of students for each. Bullet number 3, in adjacent column, the number of instructors, then assistant instructors personnel identified appropriately. Bullet number 4, a summary of students to faculty ratio, student contact per instructor, per grade, and overall.
So the reason I asked Kevin to bring this forward to the full board, so that the full board understands what he's asking for. I can give you the high school schedule, right? I can run a schedule and I can show you the high school schedule. I can run you a Skyward report that tells you how many kids are in each hour of every class. That Skyward report is multiple pages long. I would have to take that information and put that into where the class is. We then have every single aide assigned to, based upon students' needs, assigned to go to a classroom. So Josh and Nate and Katie have an entire schedule of where all the aides go every hour of every day. I do not have that superimposed on the class list, nor, I guess I'm not sure. This is an extensive amount of work. If you want the separate reports on how many kids are in classes, we've hyperlinked that in there and we've provided that on past class size. But I don't have a report that tells you how many adults are in every, to identify in an adjacent column the number of the instructors, so that, I just want you to recognize that's every single class, so all 6th grade classes that are going on, who's in that classroom. So it's merging all of that data and all of that information from this previous year. Would take an extensive amount of time for us to do.
All good information for us to make good informed decisions with.
What decisions do we have to make on last year's data though?
It tells us where we were, so potentially the initiative could be to put a cap, quite honestly, on our class sizes.
Sure, and we're
maybe-
bringing forward.
It's not on the agenda item, so I don't know how far we can discuss it right now, correct?
Well,
But
the thing is, here's why I wanted it brought forward, is when a board member requests information that takes a significant amount of the administrative time during a time when we're doing all of our end of the year reports and preparing for our next school year, then the board has to decide how you want us to spend our time, because that is a significant report. If you just want the policy brought forward about class sizes, that's already on the agenda. We have a policy previously that we had that we're gonna bring forward in the July, when we do the update on the policies, and that can certainly be in July. Understanding class size caps, you do not need all of that information. Know that that's what we do. That's what Josh does when he does all of his scheduling.
It would take even more time because based off of certain IEP minutes, they may not be in the classroom for the entire class period. They may spend 20 minutes and then move to a different class for 20 minutes. And so that's a
So how is
ton
it
of time.
reported to other benchmark organizations that rate us as a school and have a ratio from the state? How are we reporting that currently to those bodies?
Reporting,
Class
so
to student ratios, how are they calculating that? That has to be provided by the district.
We have teacher to student ratio
Yeah.
that was provided.
that was
With the
provided
rate.
in the last board
And the
meeting.
class cap right now, the class average size is 28, is that correct? There was no, on that information, there was no difference of what the minimum was, a 5 30-person class versus a 38-person class. It was an average, it wasn't,
Right.
right. So if we have a cap, the average you can't use any information on, you need to know the deltas, how much variation exists from the average. So,
No, how we make our decisions though, Kevin, we make our decisions on how many students are in a class. And they gave the personnel committee the discussion on how we make the class sizes and whether or not they run. And we showed you all of our decision making.
and what I'm suggesting by the motion is we bring it to the table and establish a mandated class cap. That is the future agenda that we're requesting.
Well, no, you're requesting an agenda item, you're requesting information already.
Yep.
This
So,
is a lot of information. If you're just requesting that the policy be brought forward again, we have that policy. I will certainly bring that policy forward. It's the question about why do you need all of this information in order to make a class cap policy?
How many classes would be affected? It turns into budgeting then. How many students are you gonna need if you have a cap of 32, if you have a cap of 38, if you have a cap of 30? It's likely you're probably, if you do make an initiative to decrease your student to faculty ratio, it's gonna take time, and it's gonna take resources, and it's gonna take a budget. That's why I want it as an agenda item. We need to talk about it, and we need information to make good decisions.
So we currently used to have a policy on the class size.
Yes, we're bringing it.
Okay, so,
We're bringing the class size policy forward. All of this information from last year will not be relevant to make that decision.
okay, so, but you have documentation that we received that we could look, that Kevin could look back on for 17, 18 for the class.
because I access a computer, I'm looking at last month's information right now. So I'm pretty sure we can have it next month. In printed form too, by the way.
Okay, so let's look at that together.
I don't
And-
have that information. I'm telling
Ann
you,
says
I'm telling you, I do not have that information. I have it in 5 different documents. I do not have it the way he's requesting it. And it would take a significant amount of time to produce it in the method that Kevin wants it produced in.
Okay,
And
well,
I don't think that's a good use of my time.
let me clarify this, like, when you say significant amount of time, can,
I would
I'm not
ballpark it
asking
as the
how
person
much
that's
it
gonna
takes.
run the reports. I would ballpark it as days.
right, we're talking days, not hours, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I would.
I mean,
I would.
sometimes I say, I can't do that for you, it's gonna take a significant amount of time, and it's gonna take 10 minutes, but that's significant in the
Yeah,
context.
I would tell you it's
I-
days.
I don't think that's an
Okay.
effective use of our staff's time to invest days. If we have the conversation, look at the policy, and we decide as a board we don't have enough information to be able to be effective, then I think we can have a discussion about that, but I wouldn't expect our staff to spend days doing
I
that.
don't understand what's wrong with the information that was provided last, I mean, that's pretty simple to me. You list grade level, you list student enrollment, you list sections, you list core content, class size averages.
Averages, there it is, that's the issue.
So you want each individual
No,
class?
the reality is you could have outliers in there.
You're out.
Okay,
Well,
so,
we need to continue on because that is formal, and please record it as such in the minutes. Item number 2, with information including notes published of board meeting discussions, I need to present concerns for such occurrences. If any information discussion points relative to our meeting is published out of context, it could be subjected to legal recourses, including punitive damages. With these concerns, I'm requesting we have an agenda item for presentation on the legal representation provided by the district for board members. Any questions or concerns about that line item?
so, okay, so, That's
With
something-
WASB training, we are awarded potentially legal counsel for any school-related activities. And right now, I need to have that information. If there's an application there, I'll need to have that as well.
and I think that we may even have that covered on one of our board policies as well, legal representation provided by the district for board members. And that was covered under the WASB when Bob was here as well. I can,
Legal counsel, we have in our board policy, we have legal counsel outlined in our board policy.
Okay? What is the process for me to engage? And what is the process and reimbursement process? I need to have that, and it should be on an agenda item so we can discuss it further, so everyone understands it.
That would have to.
Yeah,
So item number 3, with the capital projects underway, the project plans estimate to costs have not been visible to the district. I'm requesting a comparison of estimated costs, both incurred and projected, for both the science edition and the energy efficiency projects presented at the next board meeting. You have a project plan, but we have no visibility, quite honestly, on what we paid, what we're going to pay, to the total of the actual items. Project plan, there's nothing from a project plan and expense standpoint. So those are my requested future agenda items.
Well, let me, okay, Kevin, if I have any questions when I go over any of these, I'll contact you and see what we can come up with for the next agenda. I mean, some of these, I'm looking at policy 172, policy 155 you brought back, and then I look under the cap, I did not see that one.
Policy 172 outlines your legal counsel
Yeah.
as a board member, so.
And that's something we can probably go back when we talk about, just open that. If I have questions on that, Kevin, I'll.
So this is gonna be all on July,
Well,
and,
not
and we're,
necessarily,
Well,
Right.
well, yeah, but
It
we're,
could be cleared up before then.
okay.
So I'll look, I'll get in touch with Kevin.
If it's cleared up before, then you better inform everybody.
Well, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
yeah, otherwise, you bring it in July, cause that's when we're going over our policies, and why wouldn't we do this as a board?
Well, we are gonna do it, I'm just gonna make sure that when I'm reading out all of his requests, that if they're not covered under his policy, I'll send him, say, they're under this policy, review it. If this a policy you wanna bring back to the July meeting.
I got it.
I would like to
No, no,
know,
no.
however, if the board is requesting that I do all of that work, or if the board is not requesting that I do all of that work.
I don't see any point in the detail of the class sizes. Reviewing the legal counsel, that's fine, there's only limited things that you can and can't do, and it's clearly stated out. Can't remember the third one, Kevin talks so much.
Okay, Kevin, would it be okay with that if we, because there is a few things there, if we brought back the policy in July and then broke it down?
I'm good with that. The reality is that
then
I'd like to
we're
see the
gonna-
momentum for us to make positive decisions for us,
And I
but
know we
honestly, in our
won't.
district,
I
that's
know
all
we
it comes
won't,
down to.
yeah, but yeah. I get
Also,
we're
we can just
throwing
forget
a
that
lot out
policy
there,
if
so.
you want to add any of that. So, okay, so
We're
this
gonna bring-
camp, policy 155, policy 17, and then, all right, we got it,
So, and yeah, we'll just look at the policies and go from there.
okay. Did you tell Julie the good news about what we're gonna have her project do?
Not now. Maybe tomorrow.
No, no,
Just tomorrow, please. That'll be good.
that was just all the, putting it on the website. Like what you discussed tonight when we were doing all the little,
That becomes a part of it, yeah, yeah.
that's,
Okay, Diane.
Right,
Anybody
I'll get
else?
her done.
That's in
You're
board
excellent.
docs.
I have
Oh,
one more
It's in board
agenda
docs.
item.
okay, cool. Oh, it is?
Yeah, board docs is
You correct the whip. Well, I need to wait till she steps down.
Yeah, all of that, you know, the definition. Yeah. Okay, anybody else?
Yes. I would like Zach to come and present to us on, there were so many fantastic achievements by our teams here at the end of the year. I'd like to invite those coaches to come along, that we can express our appreciation for the hard work they did. And in addition to that, or part of that same thing, we have new programs that have occurred associated with our school, whether it be swimming or track team, which they were awesome, by the way, in conference individually. But let's hear how that's going. Are kids engaging in this? Is this a positive thing? It doesn't have to be in July, it can be in August. I just think we don't have a student representative here to tell us how great Mosinee did, and to provide us with that, I'd like to hear from Zach just how that went. And it doesn't have to be long, and we should invite those people that participated.
Okay, and then the only thing I have to add is between you and Jess and I getting together one more time, because that meeting would have to be posted,
Posted, yeah.
because you and I are in the same committee.
Okay.
How that it gets worded, Amy, Ann, would you reach out to June, how that would need to be worded? And then look at our calendar, see when we can meet, because that's gonna be, and then anybody else that has any policies that need to be reviewed or looked at before the next meeting, please let us know. We are gonna bring the school perception report back, but it's gonna be at the special budget meeting, cause Brent's gonna be so quick on that night that we'll be able to
Sounds
squeeze her in
good.
there.
And next month we have 2 meetings.
Yes. Okay, anybody else? I am looking for a motion to adjourn. I give that one to Amy, and a second by Matt Barnes.